Today I'm going to talk about The Great Divide, an historical fiction by author Christina Henriquez. She's an accomplished writer with 3 prior novels and with writings that have appeared in numerous newspapers, and apparently it took her some 10 years to research material for this book. It's the early 1900s, and workers from around the world are flocking to Panama to work on what was being billed as the greatest feat of engineering, what we now know as the Panama Canal, connecting the Pacific Ocean with the Atlantic Ocean. The Great Divide book provides just enough history, more specifically the role of the United States in building the canal, and it encouraged me to do a bit more reading. The United States, under then President Roosevelt, pushed for the canal to be built in order to enhance its standing and power on the world stage. The canal allowed for quick and cheap transport of goods, as well as military supplies and equipment if needed. And yes, the canal was an engineering marvel and provided employment throughout the United States, Central America, and the Caribbean, and eventually was an economic boost to Panama. But there were costs, not just financial, but human, in the construction. And that's where the Great Divide story comes in. Christina Henriquez nicely portrays how the Panama Canal changed the face of Panama for good and bad. While some agreed with the building of the canal and what it offered to Panama, people were displaced from their homes, American quarters were established, the old way of life was threatened. Families were disrupted over disagreements about foreign intervention. There was illness and death, and racial and class prejudice occurred. The title, The Great Divide, is certainly appropriate. Christina Henriquez introduces many characters throughout the book to show these many layers, so to speak, and some we meet only briefly. But one of the key characters is Ada Bunting, a 16-year-old who left her home in Barbados as a stowaway on a ship to seek employment in Panama to earn enough money to pay for surgery for her sister. She's hired by John Oswald to care for his ailing wife. John Oswald is a scientist who is in Panama to eradicate malaria. And then there's Francisco, a local fisherman who resents the fact that his son Omar chose to work on the canal. I like the way in which Christina Henriquez, through her presentation of so many characters, shows how so many diverse people, from fishermen to doctors, were affected, good or bad, by such a huge building project, and how their lives all cross paths at some point because of the canal. Like I said, this book really encouraged me to do some research, and there's much information online. It's worth checking out, and this book is worth reading. It's not an exciting read, but it's eloquent and held my interest. The Great Divide by Christina Henriquez.